question is, seeing as it's Canada's birthday and we're 125 years old, what is Canada's national sport?
Lacrosse. Next.
Hey, Mike, it's Mike here. I have a question. How did Lauren Gump Worsley get the nickname Gump, or the Gumper?
Well, about 50 years ago, there was a comic strip, and it came out of there. I had hair like it stood up the way it was drawn in a cartoon, and that's why I ended up with a brush cut, and it was given to me by one of my buddies, George Ferguson, in Otterburn Park, where we used to go for the summer. I was about 10 years old when I got the nickname, but it just stuck, and there's a lot of people who are great friends of mine. They don't know my right name.
Do you like it?
I don't mind it. As I say, as long as you don't call me late for dinner or something like that, I'm fine.
Mike, what's going on? Everywhere I go, pucks. Problem is, they're all made in Czechoslovakia. Can't we do this in Canada?
Right now, about 30% of the pucks being sold in Canada are coming in from Czechoslovakia and from China. There's about 3 million pucks sold in Canada a year, and we manufacture between 1.5 to 2 million of those. We had a situation happen about 6 years ago where the communist countries were dumping some pucks into Canada. That created a dumping charge that occurred, and that was dropped last year. So as that was dropped, it allowed these countries again to import pucks into Canada at very reduced prices, and it's our belief, or our opinion, I guess, that dumping may be occurring again.
But we can rest assured that, say, the NHL and our Olympic team and people like that all have made in Canada pucks.
NHL do have made in Canada pucks right now, and let's hope it stays that way.
You mean to tell me that they might go to Czechoslovakian or Chinese pucks?
Well, I don't talk for the NHL, but it depends, I guess, and let's hope they never do. But right now they're Canadian, and that's something to be proud of.
Hey, Dave, come on here. Come on. A little faster, please. You haven't really got all day. We've been answering questions here like all day now. I think maybe it's time we turn it around and ask the question. Sure. And try some people's knowledge. Sure. I'll ask the question that I don't think anybody out there knows. Well, there might be 2 or 3, probably not many. What would you say if I told you that Kenora, Ontario, had won a Stanley Cup?
Oh, you
Isn't that
dirty
funny?
little boy.
Now, you see, you're thinking, hey, it's in Ontario. Yeah, who knows? The Stanley Cup, strange kind of history.
Thistles.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But if you said, yeah, you'd be wrong. But if you said, has Rat Portage ever won a Stanley Cup?
Then you'd be right.
We're preparing for, I guess, for all Canadians, should be a very, very solemn moment. The return of the original Stanley Cup, not the big sucker that you see, but the original Stanley Cup to its rightful place, representation to the 1907 winners of the Stanley Cup, the Kenora Thistles.
Used to be known as the Rat Portage Thistles. They became the Kenora Thistles and won the Stanley Cup. And here in the great Canadian tradition, the Stanley Cup is coming home once again. It's a solemn, touching moment. You might need one of these.
It's just one. Thank you.
I think the team had a lot to do with changing the game a bit. They carried the puck to the other end of the rink and tried to score rather than just shoot it down the ice, as some of the teams had done up to that time. So they had quite an influence on the development of the game. Those days, the town was rather isolated, eh? The railroad, that came through, and that was about it. Otherwise, we were just back up here. So for a small town, it was really something.
I'm going to go on a limb and say that is probably the biggest hockey stick in Canada, and quite possibly the world.
Well, you can go out on a limb there. That's certainly the largest hockey stick in Duncan, British Columbia.
By far.
Easily.
That's where it is. And that's the big hockey stick from Expo, the Expo site in Vancouver.
In Vancouver.
Apparently, Duncan paid in excess of $250,000 for it. The question is,
why?
Hey, Mike, does Canada have heroes anymore?
the Elvis car,
Right, yes.
and now you've cooked up something else. What do you got going now?
Well, I got the Mystery Man car now, and it seems like publicly really likes the car, you know, all ages and that. Something like Batman, you know.
Yeah.
You can't use that, you know. It looks a little bit like the first one, you know.
So this was the Elvis car, right?
This was the Elvis car, and like I said, I did my Cadillac into the Elvis the Playboy. When I changed it around and used this one here because it's black for a bad car.
The Elvis car used to be the Lincoln, but now the Cadillac has been turned into the Elvis car. It's much more permanent.
So is this your plan? Like you get getting more serious about the music, are you?
Yes, the music. I got enough songs to do an LP, you know. It's just that if I can get somebody who would get there and good listen to them and, you know, see what they can do, a little help, you know. Like I said, a piece of pie and none of the pie.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike and Mike, what in your opinion is the quintessential Canadian thing?
That's a really interesting question.
This is Rocky Harbor, Newfoundland. We know where that is.
Yeah, if that helps. This is it's on the west coast, Newfoundland, in within Grossmoor National Park. Did you see that really pretty rock over there earlier? Beautiful rocks.
My name is Dan Southern. I'm from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. I'm a deckhand here on the Halifax paddle boat. And I'd like to know what's a pierogi?
A pierogi, or pierogi, is basically Ukrainian stick-to-your-ribs food. It'd be food.
That's right, it's food. And because it's Ukrainian, we decided that we'd come to Edmonton, which has a large Ukrainian population, as everyone knows, and just find ourselves a pierogi place and pretty much get to the bottom of it. Just basic dough. And the filling, this filling is potatoes
and
onion. What other kind of fillings do you put in it usually?
Potato cottage cheese, potato cheddar, sauerkraut, beef, all kinds.
Oh, that was a bad one.
This is a big moment. This is the culmination of a lot of things. So when we go to accept our Emmy, our Actor Awards, our Genie Awards, and all those Lifetime Achievement Awards, we're going to stay humble and be good. But this is it, the moment.
That's right. This is the surprise. And like I said earlier, we've been driving all day. I swear to God, we drove all day to see this.
On behalf of the Academy, my mom and dad, it's the giant pierogi in Glendon, Alberta.
This is, without doubt, I think I can say unequivocally, the world's largest pierogi on a fork.
Anywhere
on the planet.
World.
The community got together along with some government funding organizations, and as far as I can tell, judging by the dollar donations, this thing costs somewhere in the neighborhood of $20,000.
Worth every penny of it.
Worth every cent.
I'm Kelly Lang here in Cowhead, Newfoundland. I'm wondering if there's any more weird names like us out there.
Right, pay attention, we're going through spasms.
Look, spasm.
Hi, John, it's Mike. Is the car ready? Well, you better catch it. The buffalo was the force with the rest of the herd coming behind them. They would plunge to their deaths while their heads smashed in. Flin Flon, named after a character from a science fiction book. What was it for? Vulcan, the home of Spock.
Cut knife.
Cut knife.
Cut knife. Rhodes here has a theory.
We're going to rip the lid off the travel industry.
Exactly. You know, I didn't really believe it at first, but he's since convinced me. So,
Okay. First of all, they put you on this thing that weighs about 55,000 tons and it's steel, and they say it flies there, right? Everybody gets in the thing, we believe it. You know, we're just blind. But if you look here on this map,
okay, you hold the microphone.
You explain all these excellent travel destinations are right around here.
That's right. You don't need to go to a travel agent and get on a plane to travel out of the country here. For instance, let's start over here.
Start easy.
Shall we?
London.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, you got
That's
London.
the easy one.
You got London. You got Sparta. Okay, that was the sister city. Well, not a sister city, but a city-state in Greece near, you know, Athens. Copenhagen, huh? Copenhagen, and then right across from Copenhagen, Vienna.
See?
Mike, I'm led to understand that Scotland and Canada have a very close historical relationship to one another. Could you please explain this to me?
Well, Michael Sturt Camel, you're home.
You're darn right I'm home, and again, going back to what we were saying about travel agents, they will hose the hell out of you, and they will try and make you believe that Scotland is a little country perched on top of England. Absolute crap. Scotland is just south of Brantford, and I mean, it's a little late in the evening to be going in there, but if we did, we were in there earlier, and Rod Stewart lives there.
Alan Frew.
Alan Frew has a cottage there, you know, and the Nazareth guys are there, and the Proclaimers are there. Actually, they were singing on the sidewalk.
Hi, I'm Dee Ryan from Port-au-Port, Newfoundland.
I'm Neil Meister from Halifax, Nova Scotia.
And there is a swift current in eastern Newfoundland, but is there a river in swift current, Saskatchewan?
This is it. This is Swift Current. This is what we came all the way for. The Mighty, we've heard about this for years. Swift Current, Saskatchewan.
This is
Swift Current.
Well, this is the body of water. This is Swift Current Creek, and you know, obviously the Indians have known about it for hundreds and hundreds of years. They used it, and it wasn't really till the fur traders found it that anybody made any kind of a stink about it. And the fur traders actually named it. They call it Rivière au Courant, which I guess in English is Swift Current. What would you name it, Mr. Smart?
I guess Avon is already gone.
Lazy meandering river. Creek. Lazy meandering creek, Saskatchewan.